Jake Simon's Morning Blend. Here it is, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Our question is, who's my better expert, Janelle or Tony, when it comes to Marvel? I think Janelle is when it comes to Marvel. Yeah. So we're going to let Janelle go first. Guardians of the Galaxy, let's talk about it real quick. Then we'll get into the rating.
I thought it was great. I thought it was exactly how a quote unquote send off for a group of characters that we've been around and experienced for the last 10 years. I think they handled it exactly the way they should have. It was emotional, it was funny, it had a great soundtrack. It's everything that Guardians of the Galaxy had become known, you know, as far as like what their genre as far as inside this MCU was for. Like I said, music, humor, sentimentality, when it pulls on the heartstrings occasionally. Yeah, it was really good. I mean, I as a nerd, I have my issues with it, but I mean, it's for what it is for the MCU. I thought it was really good.
Tony?
Look, nobody's ever going to get away with this again for Marvel. He's delivered three films that are his own creation, different from anything else that's come before it. And he continues to kind of reinvent himself with it. Like, as you touched on the soundtrack, of course, it's important, and it plays into the story at the same time. Obviously, it's full of so much emotion. You are not prepared for this. You're going to tear up. You're going to cry. You may even sob. I mean, it's just amazing that it's been 9 years since we first met these characters, and the attachment and bond that we form with them from what they've been through. But it's just honestly, it's honestly a testament to James and his power of writing for how much we've grown to love these characters. But there's so much nostalgia, so many moments to call back to from the past, which I really enjoyed. And I really appreciate that every single character got their moment, quote unquote. They each had their own their character arc completion. And for the conclusion, there's plenty to discuss down the road to not to touch on spoilers. But I thought it was a very fitting end to this, and I'm very excited to see what comes next way down the road, obviously.
Okay, two things that I noticed about it. Let me ask the first one. I got to ask you guys this, and maybe I'm mistaken. Is James Gunn still with Marvel, or is he over at DC?
He's the DC head, but he has not said he's 100% done with Marvel.
Okay,
so he's going to be very busy for some time.
Okay, so that's what I was concerned with. And number two, it really looked like Chris Pratt had lost some weight.
I mean, he was about the same as he was for the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I mean, he's as Star-Lord, he kind of that kind of was how he
looked a little skinny than me, a little not quite muscular. But anyway, I've got to agree with you guys. I thought it was great. Yeah, you're right. There were a couple of moments where emotional, definitely emotional. And you're right, Janelle and Tony, the soundtrack. I was sitting in my seat dancing, clapping my, stamping my foot, everything. So it was great. So I'm going to be the first one to say, because we're making it short and sweet, Guardians of the Galaxy, 4.5 out of 5 for me.
I agree. 4.5 out of 5 is where it needs to be. We also need to clarify that it has 2 credit scenes, a mid-credit and a very, very end of the movie credit scene. So, because a lot of times people are like, didn't know I was supposed to sit for the whole thing. You should by now. It's a Marvel movie. Like, that's on you. You jump out of your seat in the Marvel movie.
You're bad.
Don't be surprised when you have no idea what's happening next. So,
Tony?
Agreed 100%. I can't recommend this enough. I'm lucky enough to have seen it twice at this point. And last night, it still hit me the same. I still found myself getting emotional, even though I already knew what was going to happen. So I think, again, it's a testament to what they've done. One thing we haven't touched on yet, this film boasts the first ever use of the F word in a Marvel film. And it's hilarious, and it works. Yeah. But the fact that James got away with that, it's his little, like, okay, I want to have a little, cornerstone moment for the franchise. He's absolutely delivered it. But this cements itself as my favorite, and I think the best trilogy within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It really is an epic conclusion.
How will you rate it?
I give it 5 out of 5. There's not a thing I would change, and it's such an absolute blast. I can't wait to go see it again. Honestly.
Okay. It's got to stay at 4.5 because we got you beat. So
that's all right.
4.5 out of 5. Guardians of the Galaxy, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next week.